My name is Dr. McDaniel. I'm going to be your teacher this semester. Wanted to give you a little bit of information about myself. I've been teaching at MTSU full-time since 1995. I was there as a TA in 1993. My major was math, of course, and I got a master's in math, and my doctorate is in education from Tennessee State University. I actually went to undergraduate work at MTSU and did some graduate work there in math, my master's in math at MTSU, and graduated in 95. I taught for the math department for 4 years, from 95 to 99, and switched over to what is now known as University Studies back in 1999, and have been with them ever since. My area of interest is I love teaching math. I love working with students. And my current research interest is in statistics education. So if you're in the stats class, that is where most of my research revolves. We do a lot of activities in that class and a lot of research within that class itself. If you're in the college algebra or Math 1000 or another class, I still love teaching those classes as well. I just don't have a lot of research going on within those classes. So again, I look forward to working with you the rest of the semester. In the subsequent video you'll see that should come right after this, I'll give you a walkthrough of the syllabus and how to log into MyMathLab. Okay, I'm going to give you a walkthrough of MyMathLab, how to get logged in. This is the system we're going to be using for the duration of the semester. It's very important that we get logged in by the first day of class. So you're going to go up here to mymathlab.com, and I have emailed you, or I will have emailed you, a course ID that you will need, and you will also need a course access code. Now you can get this access code in one of two ways. You can either buy the textbook that comes bundled with a code, or you can just buy the code online, and online is an online ebook. It's a little cheaper to do the latter, to just buy the online, get a physical copy of the book. I leave it up to you which way you go. You'd hate to get a lower grade in the class just because you didn't have a physical copy of the book. If it were me, I need a copy of the book. I really assign any problems out of the book. Well, I don't assign problems out of the book. Everything is done within this homework system. Yet, the book does give examples. They're online as well, but I like being able to thumb through and highlight and stuff like that. So I leave it up to you which way you go. You're going to register, and that's where you will put in the course access code and course ID. Once you register, you're going to go to sign in. Okay. And you will have only one or two courses here if you're repeating a course, or if you're taking another course where you use MyMathLab. If you had Math 1000 last semester or something. So our course is going to say something like this: Math 1530K-L1 Fall 2012. And here's what it looks like. I may change color scheme or something like that, but in general, here's what we're going to see. You will eventually see some assignments coming up due here. And it shows up here as well. And I believe announcements will end up showing up here, and you can click View All if you want to see some. Don't have any announcements quite yet, but they will be there. Let's look at the syllabus. So I'm going to go through the syllabus. I'll do this in class as well. This being an on-ground class, I will do that, but I wanted to go through this with you before you even walked in the door, just so you know what to expect. Okay, so here's the departmental syllabus. I've split up the syllabus into two parts. So sort of the departmental legalese that I need to cover on here. So the course description, etc., prerequisites, text. We talked about the text. Here's the name of the text. Fundamentals of Statistics. It's a custom edition of the book that comes bundled with an algebra book. So one thing I didn't mention was that the algebra, the little algebra text, we do about 8 sections of algebra, this being a K course, to help support your learning of the statistics. That book is not online. So if you need that, you definitely need to buy the bundled version of this text. Calculator, really important that you have an 83, 84. By about the second day of class, maybe the third day of class, we'll be using this. So make sure you go ahead and have that calculator. You'll use that for this course and any other sort of math or science course that you end up taking. There's a math lab. We'll talk about that once the hours open. Once it opens, I'll let you read the goal and learning outcomes. So I've got algebra learning outcomes, and then I've got the statistics learning outcomes, and I'll let you read through those. And course requirements, I'll let you read through that. Course topics, I'll let you read through that. And these are the actual sections we will end up covering within the two texts. And the judicial statement, don't cheat. Course conduct, you guys won't have a problem with that, and lottery scholarship. Okay. So not a lot of things pertinent to specific to this class. So here is the personalized syllabus. So instructor, Dr. McDaniel, that's me. My office is in SAG 118. I've got a map on the last page of the syllabus. There's my email address. In fact, it's changed a little bit, but I'll get it from that email as well. Office hours, right now, here's what they are. They could change. It depends if my schedule remains the same. Right now, it is looking good. It's my only on-ground class, 1 to 2:15. Mentioned the text already, mentioned the calculator. Okay, here's the grading. So we're going to have 4 tests, and then we're going to have homework and classwork, which 100 points. So the tests are 100 points each. Homework, classwork, 100 points. Quizzes, these are primarily online quizzes, going to be 100 points. And the final exam is 200 points. No makeup test given under any circumstances. So make sure that you are there on test dates. And I do not generally move test dates. They're usually there unless we get a snow day or something crazy happens. So I generally do not move test dates. Homework. So this class is done a little different. I'll go ahead and start giving you the spiel now. This is called a flipped class or an inverted class. I've been doing this since 2006. What you will do is for your homework, so rather than listening to a lecture and going home and doing homework, what you're going to do is you're going to watch a video lecture online, do a few of the basic homework problems, and then come to class. And class time will be used for you to do the homework that would normally be done at home. What makes this nice is that I'm there. When you are when you're going through when you have a question, I'm there to answer it. Most students have questions not while listening to a lecture, but when they're trying to apply the principles. We'll be in groups of 4 generally, depends on the classroom, 4 or 5, 3 to 5, and you will work together. And then at the end of class, we'll have like a little group quiz to make sure you understand the material, and that's what I end up grading. And I'll go over all this in class. It's a little confusing at first, but most students pick up on it by the second day. So what you'll do is you will watch a video lecture, and I'll show you where those are. Those are all in MyMathLab. You'll do a small number of problems, usually about 4 or 5 problems in MyMathLab online. You can do them until you get them right. There are a lot of help aids there. And then you'll print out the classwork. And what I call the classwork is the concept workshop. And I'll show you where that is in MyMathLab. I'll reiterate this in the classroom, so I don't expect you to get all this just from this cursory viewing of this video. But classwork will do that virtually every class. So it's crucial you watch the video before you come to class. If you come to class without watching the video, you will be completely lost. It'll be a waste of time, and you'll be confused, and you'll be frustrated. So watch that video. I think I've got them set up to where you can actually watch them on your mobile device. We'll kind of test it out. If you have any sort of problems with the videos, don't wait till class time to let me know that you had a problem with the video. It's too late. That class will be a waste of time, and you'll have missed all of it. And once you get behind in math, it gets really hard to get caught back up. Email me immediately. Quizzes. So there are online quizzes I give pretty much over every section. They're just generally 3 questions. I think I call it the 3-question quiz. So there are 3 questions over each section, and I believe you can do it up to 5 times or maybe infinite. I can't remember what I've got it set up. But it'll be multiple attempts that you get to try the quiz. And I take the best attempt, and I'll go over all this again in class. Final exam, it's comprehensive. That means it's over everything to worth 200 points. And also, if you happen to miss a test, which you should never, ever do, I will use the final exam to replace your missed test. If you miss 2 tests, you'll get a 0 on one of those, which makes it very hard to come back. So make sure you're there for a test. Attendance policy, make sure you are in class. Longer version, yada, yada, yada. If you do not miss any more than 1 class for any reason, excused or not, you're not tardy, don't leave early, I'll add 20 points to your lowest test grade. So keep that in. Oop, didn't mean to do that. Let me rotate it back. There we go. I meant to highlight 20 points to your lowest test grade. So I do not differentiate between excused and unexcused absences because students will give me doctor's notes, and I've had them forged before and things like that. So I didn't like having just to judge the legitimacy of students' excuses. So I just don't have a policy of excuse, not excuse. It's an absence, you've missed class, so there it goes. Grading scale, so just a normal 90 to 100 is an A, 80 to 89 is a B, 70 to 79 is a C, and 60 to 69 is a D, below 60 is an F. And we don't use plus minus grading in this class. You can't withdraw from this class unless there's an extreme circumstance. And your version of extreme may be different than the department chair's. I do not make that decision. The department chair does, and she is pretty rough, pretty tough on that. So very few students are allowed to withdraw from this class. So do not plan on just withdrawing from the class like you can from some of your other non-prescribed classes. Okay, email do's and don'ts, or actually just do's. Include your name and course in the body of your email. So if you're asking me a question, don't say I'm confused on chapter 2. Terrible. I get these all the time. I don't know your name. I don't know what course you're in. I also, it's very general. It's not a specific question. I'll probably just say go to the MyMathLab. I don't even know who you are, and I can't really answer a question that's so nebulous like that. So be specific when you can. Proofread, etc., etc. It's best if you use your MTSU email. So when you sign up for MyMathLab, it is best. And it's actually required that you use your MTSU email. What many students will do is they'll just forward that MTSU email to their favorite email service. If you use Gmail or if you use Yahoo or whatever, you can just have it forwarded there. I also recommend forwarding that MTSU email to your mobile phone, your smartphone. And I get back with you pretty quick, so expect a reply pretty soon. I mean, often I'll get an email and asking usually about some sort of policy, like they're questioning a particular assignment, and I respond within 3 or 4 minutes, and then they come to me in class 3 days later and say, did you get my email? It's like, I interrupted everything I was doing. I responded to your email, and you didn't even read it. You spent 3 days not even looking at my email, so I will get back with you. And there's a map right there of where I am. Really near the nursing building, right across the nursing building. Okay, so there's a quick rundown of the syllabus, and I'll do this in class as well, but there you go. Outline, here's what we're going to be doing. You should print this off, and print the syllabus for that matter. I will hand those out in class, but if you want to go ahead and get a nice color version, you can. So here are the topics, and I've given the quiz due dates over here, so about every section or two we're going to end up having quizzes. And I give you a few days to process the quiz. The quiz we don't do until after we've done what we do in class, and even sometimes then an extra day or so to process what we've done. So those test dates are pretty firm. Occasionally they'll get moved, but in general those are going to be the dates. So kind of put those in your calendar. And so for instance, on this first day, on Wednesday, you will watch before you come to class on Wednesday. So come to class on Monday. We'll do introductions. We'll go over this new format. I'll show you how to get into MyMathLab again. Hopefully about half of you will have gotten in already. And then before Wednesday's class, you will have watched, I think, 2 or 3 different videos on this introduction material. And I'll be honest, the intro stuff is not nearly as interesting afterwards. The intro is a lot of vocabulary, a lot of definition stuff, not a lot of problem solving. I like to solve problems. Whereas the intro is a lot of just descriptive statistics and why we sample and things like that, different sampling techniques. It really picks up after Labor Day when we begin to meet in the computer lab and we start working with some of the data. But nonetheless, this material is important that you know some of that terminology, so make sure you watch those videos. But these videos over Chapter 1 are not representative of the remaining videos where we're actually solving a lot of problems. Okay. So here are the videos. So when you click on videos, we have algebra and statistics. I've split it up into 2 different lessons. So it'll be clear once we get in the class which ones we're going to be doing. If we begin with the stats, so we're going to click on stats and then click on Chapter 1. And then I've got some notes for you. So each video will have a PowerPoint notes. So for instance, before that first class, there are these 3 groups of videos you'll watch. PowerPoint notes, print these off. That makes it easier to take notes from. Okay, so you don't have to write down all those problems. I've given you a spot here to take notes, or you can use your own paper. It's up to you. So print those off, and then you'll click on the video. We'll open up part 1. And there we are. And so you can use table of contents over here to navigate through. So I've asked you to do certain things. identify the research objectives and things like that. So I don't think this is too hard, the chapter 1 stuff, but it's necessary to go through so that when we begin talking about research questions and types of data, descriptive versus inferential versus experiment versus observational studies, things like that, quantitative versus qualitative variables, you'll know what we're talking about because you'll have already worked through them. And what I will do the first week or two, if not throughout the semester, is I will go around and check your notes to make sure you're taking notes. So one way I can make sure you're watching the videos is by looking at your notes. You need to be writing stuff down. So anything I write down, you need to write down. Now this first chapter is a little different because I don't write a whole lot of stuff down. I put it in the PowerPoint. But you will still often need to write something down. So make sure you get in the habit of watching these videos. It's really clear who students who don't watch them, they're completely lost. They generally do not end up succeeding in the course. So make sure you watch those videos. Okay, what do we got here? Occasionally I have a little summary video that sort of summarizes usually one problem or so where we pull it all together. So you watch the video, and then you're going to do the online homework. So click on the homework link. And you do the online homework for that video, 1112. So I click on that. And there are just 11 little problems here. We'll click on this first one. Unfortunately, you cannot do this on your mobile on an iPhone or an iPad because it uses the Flash background, which is unfortunate. Unless you've got there are some workarounds. You can use a Splash Top app and things like that. But in general, it gets a little clunky. So you can pull up textbook over here so you can have help. So here's define statistics, and hopefully through that video you can figure that out. Some of these, let me find one that's actually working, has some problems. So you can pull down menus and get them, and you can work these again if you happen to miss them. Okay, so here's one we actually have. You can click help me solve this. There's one here, let me show you another one. You can view an example, so you can view an example of this particular type of problem, and it kind of walks you through what we do to solve this. So it defines the terms for us so you can get it. So let's say I'm gonna miss this one. Oop, let me actually miss it. So I'm gonna miss this one. It says no, it's not correct. I get another chance at it. Well, actually that one I only get one chance. But let's say usually you'll get 3 chances, but this one, if you missed it, it was obvious that you had to choose the other one. Click similar exercise. It'll give you something pretty similar. This one is actually almost the exact problem, and then you can do it again. It usually will change that. It'll say quantitative, and it changes that red X into a nice green check, which is what we want. You can pull up part of the textbook where that particular problem comes from. There we go. So the book is actually online. You can use table of contents. You can go to a certain part of the book if you want to. Calculator. Let me pull up one. Well, I don't want to overwhelm you with all different features in here. We'll cover those when we actually begin doing some of these. Let's leave this page. All right. So you do that little bit of homework. Usually it takes under 10 minutes to do that. And then you're going to click over here on Concept Workshop. So click on Concept Workshop, and then click on Statistics. And if we're doing Chapter 1, this very first day, 1.1 through 1.5, you print this out and you bring this class. This is what we do in class. So the Concept Workshop, you're not expected to have done this before you come to class. You certainly can. If you want to get a little bit ahead, and you certainly may. But we will do this in class. Okay. Sometimes over 2 classes. It sort of depends. You can look at the outline and figure out what we're going to be doing. Chapter 2. Okay, so you can click on Chapter 2. Chapter 2 is a little weird because we're actually going to meet in the computer lab. Let's look at 3. Okay, so 3, here's 3, 4, 3, 5. We're going to do all this. Okay, and from watching that video and from your help of your group, we should be able to do these problems. But I do not expect you to be able to do this before you come to class. You certainly can. You probably could do the first couple. Usually start off pretty easy, and then it gets a little more, it gets progressively harder. Okay, so does that become more clear? Watch the video, do the online homework, and then print out the Concept Workshop. And that's it. And then after we do that in class, you go home, you watch the next video, and then ever so often we will have a quiz. So, and their due dates on this. So this first quiz, I believe, is just 3 sections. So click I'm ready to start. Let's see what we've got here. Yeah, so just 3 questions. And very similar to the homework problems as well. And you can do it multiple times. So, leave that page. Again, if you want to access just the ebook, click on ebook. Eventually I will post practice tests. Well, they're already here. I may remove those to begin, just not to overwhelm you with all the stuff we're going to be doing. 1 unit or 2 units, we end up doing some little activities. I'm not even sure what this one was. Oh yeah, it's a good little help or hinder activity. We may do that the first day. We got the ebook right here. That's got a you can drill into whatever chapter you want. Okay. Your grade book right there. Study plan. We'll talk more about this later. They've kind of updated it, so I need to review this myself a little bit. But what it basically the study plan does is if you take a quiz or practice test and you don't do as well as you want on it, and you don't want to just take it again because you don't get help aids on the quizzes and practice tests, you come to the study plan, it'll generate problems for you to do based on what you've missed, which is kind of nice. And it has all those help aids. And then you go back and do the quiz or practice test. Multimedia library. Let's see what we got here. So here's if you want to drill in and find certain videos on particular chapters. These are all publisher driven. This is nothing that I've done. I can't. It'd be nice if I could put my own stuff in here, but I can't. StatCrunch, we'll talk more about this later, but this is a way for us to analyze data on the computer. It's free. It comes built in with your MyMathLab. It used to cost $6 a semester. Now they bought it, and now they include it. So we can drill into a certain unit, and you could even open up the stuff within MyMathLab and pull it right in here and do your analysis. You can create a nice little bar chart with the particular data. And I'll teach you how to do this in the class. I don't want to do it here. And this is how we're going to be analyzing our data. We're going to be using the calculator, and we're using the computer, mostly StatCrunch and the calculator. We do almost nothing by hand in this class. Very, very little. Even the mean, median, I'll show you how to use the technology. Nobody finds mean and median and standard deviation by hand anymore. So I'm going to let you use the technology to do everything. So stats used to be a course very intense with having to remember lots of formulas and stuff like that. Now it's all driven by templates and by the calculator, and you're not learning anything less. You're actually learning more because we can do richer problems. We don't do, with real data sets. We no longer have to limit ourselves to 5 or 6 data points, which are artificial. We can actually use data sets that have 200 observations, which is really nice. Much more authentic. I'll let you explore these other ones. We're really not going to be using these, and you should not have that control panel is just for me, so you won't have that. So that's an intro to MyMathLab. It'd be great if I could get everybody in by the first day. It'll be necessary by the second day, so make sure you get in. Again, you'll either need to buy an access code online, or you can buy the book. It comes bundled with the algebra book. Make sure you don't get. There are 2 types of books, right? There's the algebra book that's combined with stats, and there's just the stats. You don't want just the stats. You want to get that algebra book as well. So. And I believe that's it. So I look forward to meeting everybody on Monday, the first day of class. If you have any questions, send me an email. Thanks.